The countdown clock above the council chamber showed 2 minutes left, and every single delegate in that massive hall was staring straight at me, waiting for one word that could end humanity's future before it even began. My name is Ethan Marlowe, and I was standing alone on a small platform in the center of a circular room built for 11,000 alien beings. The air smelled strange, sharp like burnt metal, and my hands were shaking, even though I kept them folded behind my back so nobody would notice. 2 minutes ago, the Grand Speaker of the Federation had given humanity a final choice. Hand over our most advanced defense technology right now, in this very session, or lose the protection deal that was supposed to save Earth from a massive invasion fleet already moving through nearby space. I could hear my own heartbeat pounding in my ears. Somewhere far above me, hidden behind thick glass, my daughter Lily was watching this broadcast from a shelter back on Earth, along with millions of other people whose lives depended on what I said in the next few seconds. The Grand Speaker's voice echoed through hidden speakers, deep and slow, translated into perfect English by a small device clipped to my collar. Ambassador Marlowe, the fleet of the Korath Empire will reach your solar system in 9 days. Without our shield network, your planet has no way to survive that attack. Give us the technology now, and we activate protection within the hour. I looked around the chamber. Rows and rows of creatures from 100 different worlds sat in silence, some with glowing eyes, some with skin like stone, some completely still, like statues carved from crystal. None of them blinked. None of them moved. They were all waiting to see if the newest species in the galaxy would break under pressure. A soft chime rang out, and a red light began flashing above the speaker's seat. 1 minute remaining. I thought about the years my team spent building that shield technology in secret labs under the mountains of Colorado. I thought about the engineers who lost sleep for months, about my old friend Grace Whitfield who nearly died testing the first working prototype, about every mistake we made and fixed along the way. That technology was not just metal and code. It was proof that humans could learn from failure without giving up. Handing it over now, under threat, in a room full of strangers who had never once treated us as equals, felt like handing away the only thing that made us who we were. 30 seconds. The Grand Speaker leaned forward, its long fingers tapping against the edge of the podium. Decide now, Ambassador. Your planet's survival depends on this single choice. I stepped closer to the edge of the platform, took a breath, and spoke as clearly as I could. Number. The word landed like a stone dropped into still water. A wave of low murmurs spread through the chamber, growing louder with every passing second. Some delegates leaned toward each other, whispering through strange devices attached to their throats. Others simply stared, unmoving, their expressions unreadable. The Grand Speaker's eyes narrowed. You understand what refusal means. Without our shield, your world stands alone against a fleet capable of erasing every city on your planet within hours. I understand exactly what it means, I said, my voice steadier than I expected. But I also understand that trading away our only advantage the moment someone points a weapon at us is not protection. It is surrender, wearing a different name. A tall alien with silver skin, seated near the front row, rose slightly from his seat. His name, according to the translator feed, was Counselor Varen Okoye Adeyemi Threll, though most delegates simply called him Varen for short. His voice carried across the chamber with quiet authority. Ambassador Marlowe, do you truly believe your small species can survive 9 days against a fleet that has conquered 11 star systems in the last 20 years? I do not know if we can survive, I answered honestly. But I know that if we hand over our technology out of fear today, we will spend every day afterward being told what to give up next. Fear is not a foundation, it is a trap. Another delegate, a woman with deep blue markings across her face, stood up sharply. Her name translated to Aria Soline Kavanaugh, and her voice trembled with something close to anger. Do you understand the cost of your pride? Millions of lives on your planet could be lost because you refuse to share one piece of technology with allies who only wish to help you. I looked directly at her. If you truly wish to help us, you would offer protection without demanding payment through fear and deadlines. What you are offering right now is not friendship. It is a transaction disguised as rescue. The chamber fell silent again, but this time the silence felt different, heavier, like the whole room was holding its breath. The grand speaker raised a hand, and the flashing red light above its seat turned off. The countdown clock froze at 0, but nothing happened. No alarms, no shutting doors, just stillness. Then, slowly, the grand speaker spoke again, its tone softer than before. In 400 years, no species facing extinction has ever refused our offer under these conditions. Explain yourself further, Ambassador. The Council wishes to understand your reasoning before any final decision is recorded. I felt a small flicker of hope inside my chest. This was not rejection, this was curiosity. I stepped forward again, my voice growing stronger with every word. Every species in this room built something valuable through struggle, mistakes, and years of hard work. That struggle is what taught you when to use your technology wisely and when to hold back. If you simply hand your greatest inventions to anyone under pressure, you skip that lesson completely. You create danger instead of solving it. Humanity is young, I continued, but we already learned that lesson the hard way, through our own history filled with painful mistakes. We are not refusing to work with you. We are refusing to let fear decide our future for us. If we join this council, we want to join as partners who earned their place, not as a species who traded away its only strength out of panic. A murmur rippled through the crowd again, but this time it did not sound hostile. It sounded thoughtful. Councillor Varen spoke once more, his tone measured. And if the Korath fleet destroys your planet in 9 days, what then, Ambassador? Then we will have died standing on our own feet, I said, instead of kneeling before anyone who threatened us into giving away everything we built. For a long moment, nobody spoke. The grand speaker studied me carefully, its ancient eyes reflecting the dim lights of the chamber. Then, without warning, it raised its hand high above its head, and every screen in the chamber lit up at once, showing a live image of Earth from orbit, calm and blue against the darkness of space. The Council will not force this decision, the grand speaker announced. Instead, we offer an alternative. Humanity may join the Defense Alliance under equal terms, contributing knowledge only when willing, receiving protection based on mutual agreement rather than forced exchange. This has never been offered before. Consider it carefully, Ambassador Marlowe. My knees nearly gave out from relief, but I forced myself to stay steady on the platform. I accept, I said, my voice barely above a whisper, though the translator carried it clearly across the chamber. The room erupted into a strange mixture of sounds, some like applause, some like sharp clicking, some like deep humming, each species reacting in its own unique way. It was chaotic and beautiful at the same time, unlike anything I had ever witnessed before. As the meeting ended and delegates began to disperse, Councillor Varen approached me quietly, his silver skin catching the light. You took a massive risk today, he said. Many species would have folded under that pressure. Maybe, I replied, still catching my breath. But folding would have cost us more than just technology. It would have cost us the right to decide our own future. He studied me for a long moment before nodding slowly. Perhaps that is exactly why the council listened, he said, before turning and walking away into the crowd of departing delegates. I stood alone on the platform for a few more seconds, looking up at the massive dome ceiling above me, filled with stars from 1,000 different worlds. Somewhere far below those stars, my daughter Lily was probably crying with relief, and millions of people back on Earth were watching their planet remain safe for one more day. 9 days later, when the Korath fleet arrived at the edge of our solar system, they found something they did not expect. A newly formed alliance of ships from 12 different species, standing side by side with Earth's defense fleet, ready to protect a planet that had refused to be bullied into submission. The battle that followed was fierce, but the fleet retreated within hours, unable to break through a wall of unity built on mutual respect instead of forced trade agreements. Back on Earth, celebrations broke out across every continent. Streets filled with cheering crowds, fireworks lit up the night sky, and for the first time in recorded history, humanity stood confidently among the stars, not as a desperate species begging for survival, but as a proud member of something much bigger than itself. I returned home 3 weeks later, walking through the front door of my house, to find Lily running toward me, wrapping her arms tightly around my waist. "You saved everyone," she whispered against my chest. I knelt down and looked into her eyes, smiling for the first time in what felt like months. "No," I said softly. "We saved ourselves, by refusing to give away who we are." Outside, the sky glowed with the soft light of distant stars, calm and endless, watching over a planet that had finally found its place among them, not through fear, but through courage.